Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Avax. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. And if you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now let's jump straight into the TA. So taking a look at the daily chart, we have this falling wedge that we've been in for quite some time. The low was printed here in June, then we created the resistance in August, and since then we've retested each trend line once, and we are breaking down once again. We've broken down, had a little fake out below this trend line here in November, and right now we're doing the same thing a week later. So if we manage to bounce off of this same support trend line that we just bounced off of a week ago, right? If you manage to hold this trend line, and that is sitting at, let me get the price tag, that is sitting at $11.75. So if we manage to hold that level, great, that's a great buying opportunity. You can set some buy limit orders and dollar cost average in. Bitcoin seemingly is dropping back down below $16,000. So I would say I'm going to be going to sleep in a couple of hours, and I would say in 10 hours when I wake up, we're going to see Avax probably wick below the zone, in my opinion, but this is just a guess. Obviously, I can't know that in advance. However, the fact that we haven't bounced off of the 20 EMA yet, right, and we're quite overextended on the daily chart, on the daily RSI, I want to say you're very close to the oversold zone. I want to say that if we see one more impulsive move to the downside, we're going to see a very, very quick relief rally. For example, if you take a look at these sudden drops that we've had here, for example, you had this drop all the way from April to June, a 2-month drop of 86%, right? And you had an instant move to the upside, 115%. So that's what I think could happen here, but on a smaller scale, obviously, because the fractal is much smaller. So if we start losing this low over here that we created November 22nd, we can always take a Fibonacci retracement, pick the local high, take the local low, and you have your 1.618 target at $10.39, which is in fact in our large support block here that we created all the way back in June and July of 2021. I gave you this support block more than a year ago. I told you that this is a great buying opportunity. I remember making these videos and people were saying that Avax is going to go even lower. And in fact, we didn't go lower. We bounced off of this exact low that we printed in June. We bounced off of that level in July, and we've had a bullish uptrend since then. A very similar thing could happen here. I don't think it's going to be as bullish as this move, obviously, because we are not in a bull market yet. I think by 2024, we're going to see massive moves for some higher cap altcoins. I'm not invested in Avax personally. I find other projects to be more interesting than Avax, but if you like the project, obviously buying at these low levels, dollar cost averaging, buying off of major support blocks, that's very smart of you to do if you're holding long term especially. So like I said, you have this support here, $11.80 roughly. Then the 1.618 here is at $10.40. And you also have the top of the support block at $10.66. Now, this support block is very easy to understand. We basically have the top level, which is the low that we printed in July 2nd, right? That's why we have the upper level. And the lower level is because we have 2 touches off of that area. So that's why we have the support block anywhere between $10.65 to $9.40. From there to our all-time high, if we manage to get down that low, right? That is going to be a 1,400% move to the upside. I think that is possible. Perhaps Avax is going to go even higher. We may see a $200 Avax from here. Possibly we may draw another Fibonacci retracement. Let's say we bottom out at $10 roughly. You take the high from the low to the high, and you get your 1.272 at $313. Let's say we get there. That's going to be a 3%, 3,200% move to the upside, which is more or less possible for Avax, I think. But I would say $200 is a given next bull market, because if you see what Avax did here, I'm pretty sure the next move is going to break the previous all-time high. However, we've seen some altcoins, especially the ones that have been on the market for 5-6 years. Some of them haven't retested their all-time highs. For example, Bitcoin Cash. We have Dash. They never came back to their all-time highs. So some projects are probably going to do the same next bull market. Now, I don't know if Avax is going to be one of those projects. If Avax isn't going to be stale and boring, and they're going to be updating and not missing out on important roadmap dates, then I think there is no reason for them to be stale and stagnant. They're probably going to retrace at least the all-time high. But this is for you to consider, and this is just some food for thought. And taking a look at the daily RSI, as you can see, we are wicking below the yellow support trend line multiple times here. But I would say this is every time you hit this yellow trend line, I think that's your kind of signal to start dollar cost averaging, because every time you've done you've touched this yellow trend line, you've had a move to the upside. Now, sometimes more bullish than the other, but more than often, you can just make 10 to 15% easy. If you want to have a mid to short term swing trade, if you want to hold for the long term, like I said, it's imperative that you buy off of strong support levels for the long term. If you want to swing trade, I would obviously be swing trading only when you get this overextended on the daily RSI. Once you get to these points here, right, more or less overbought. At that point, I would be more comfortable taking some profits from Avax and buying back in lower, because typically when you're in this area, as you can see, soon after you see a very, very strong move to the downside. Look at this, very, very sudden, strong drops, and you can buy back in at those drops, and you don't need to wait until it gets oversold, because that would be too risky. I would say a 10% swing trade like this is perfect to increase your Avax position. Now let's switch over to the Binance website. So taking a look at the weekly chart, we have the Fibonacci retracement, assuming that our swing low is going to be somewhere down here where we printed the low, near the 2021 summer levels. And we obviously have our golden ratio at $54. And that is a very, very important level for us to break. That is going to be our golden ratio. And we've retested that in January 2022. We lost it in May. So potentially next time we start moving to the upside and we actually break this August high, the 0.382, next time we break that, we might retrace all the way up to the golden ratio and get rejected back down, potentially for a higher low, hopefully. And that might be sort of your uptrend that you're going to be in until August 2023. And you're going to see a similar situation in August, just like you did over here. You're going to see a pullback into September. And from there, we enter the bull market into 2024 and the halving and all that good stuff. Hopefully that happens. That's a very good scenario. That's a perfect scenario, honestly. We get a nice swing trade opportunity in August. We can buy back in a couple of weeks later, and we can, enjoy the bull market afterwards. That's a potential scenario. If you're looking to exit at the golden ratio, obviously that's also going to be a very nice trade for you. 325 or 330%, not too bad in my opinion. You could target the 20 EMA on the weekly. You could target the 55 EMA on the weekly as well. That's the red line over there. If we switch over to the weekly RSI, you can see that we are in a channel down pattern here, and we have just bounced off of the support. The last time we did that, we had, moves to the upside, so potentially we might see something very similar here. And if we get to that area on the weekly, that would be mathematically speaking, that would be a good area to take some profits, because the last 2 times you were in this area, you got rejected back down. So it's safe to assume that once you come up there once again, you're going to get sent back down. So until we break out of this channel, we have to assume that we're adhering to the channel's support and resistance, and that's the only way we can reasonably trade. Obviously, there's risk involved every single time. For example, you sell here, right? And the RSI does something like this, and it breaks to the upside. Well, you couldn't buy back in lower because the RSI and the price never went back down, right? So that's the risk you're taking. If you're selling and you don't care about the price afterwards, that's totally great. That's even better because you're not going to be emotionally involved, and you shouldn't be. So channel down patterns are usually broken to the upside, so there's a good chance that the next time we're going to be coming up, we might actually break to the upside. Also, we could continue down in this direction until early 2023, and we can start breaking out then. I think spring 2023 is when we're going to start printing higher highs and higher lows on Bitcoin, because the energy crisis isn't going to be a major factor, and I think things will start calming down in spring in terms of macroeconomy, and I think that inflation may start to creep up once again, and the US is just going to start printing a bunch of money once again, and that's going to drive the prices up. So that's what I think regarding Avax. The MACD isn't really useful right now, in my opinion, because the price is really going sideways. There's not much movement here. We're still in this bullish cross. We're still moving to the upside here, not getting overextended or anything. So this is, the MACD is performing healthy. The histogram is green, is bullish. So this is good. We're not getting any bearish indicators for now. If you have any Avax right now, I would not be selling. I would not be taking profits. I would not be swing trading unless we start getting overextended extremely quickly. Because if you start breaking out and you have a 100% move in 3 days, that's a good place to take some profits. You don't need me to tell you that, because the faster you go up, the faster you're going to come back down. That's just how it works. You can't have these, this is not a healthy move to the upside once you have the vertical EMAs and stuff. You have to have organic growth. That's how you go up. But enough of that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If I missed out anything important, please let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to check out my Patreon, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.